Hey guys, it's Chris Wong. I'm filming this video as of March 3rd, 2025, and I'd like to talk about several changes I made in my Questrade margin account. So as a disclaimer, I'm not a financial advisor. I'm just a guy interested in building a portfolio. So this is kind of a part two from my previous video about settling margin calls in the last week and the stock market going down. I'm going to talk about one of the biggest changes I made in my Questrade margin account. So I did sell a lot of shares of YMAX and YMAG in my margin account, and I actually rebought some of those shares back in my Questrade TFSA just because I want to get my Questrade TFSA dollars all used up, and that way I could take advantage of the TFSA, even though I know I'm losing 15% of my withholding taxes. So this happened because I sold VOO to get HYLD.U, and I lost the buying power going from 20% to 30% margin requirement. Another thing that I did consider in my accounts was because having too much YMAX, YMAG in my margin account and seeing how they go down. So they're all based on the underlyings of YMAX. So the one thing I did consider too was I wanted the margin account to be paid off faster, and looking at how YMAX, YMAG, the dividend yields are more balanced compared to their other funds. So I think they range between 15 and 40% or even 50% depending on the fund and what week and how the fund does. So I decided to focus more on funds like CONY, NVDY, SQY, MRNY, NVDY, and I did even consider SNOY. So I want to take a chance and get funds that also became undervalued when YMAX went down, and I also want to make sure they were 30% margin requirement and something that may pay a really high dividend yield. I made videos about CONY before, about how I bought CONY, I sold it, and now I decided to buy it again. I decided to buy it again because the share price went down to like $10. Now it did go down later in the day, but I didn't know that was going to happen. So I just decided to buy it while I had time during that time in order to get the shares. And I decided to try to distribute it by Group A, Group B, Group C, and Group D. I did want to get TSLY and MSTY on Questrade in order to have high yield dividends, but the problem with having it on Questrade was Questrade had TSLY at 40% margin requirement, and they had MSTY at 75% margin requirement. So I wouldn't be able to purchase as much of those two funds. So for Group A, I did decide to get SNOY and TSMY instead. And I decided to get smaller amounts because I didn't really research the actual underlying companies itself. I just decided to get it because of the 30% margin requirement, and the dividend yield did seem that it was decent in order for me to consider investing in it as Group A. MSTY, I got it on my Wealthsimple account because I had more money in my Wealthsimple account to spare, and when I try to use a little bit of margin in the Wealthsimple margin account, the margin requirement in Wealthsimple is 40%. But because I cannot use TFSA as collateral in my Wealthsimple account, so I only have very small amounts in it. And the other funds like MRNY, AMDY, I even got AIYY just because of the 30% margin requirement. They all paid high amounts of dividends relative to the share price, and the share price was quite low. So I decided to take a chance to get these. Like if I just had like a few dollars to spare, then I would consider getting these. And they're all on different weeks, so it was actually okay to get them. I did have the idea after watching many videos of Wida Kamir's, where his main focus is TSLY, NVDY, CONY, and MSTY. Those are our four main holdings for his portfolio. So investing in these for now. I'll see what happens with the dividends, and I'm going to see if it's going to pay down the margin faster. I hope you guys liked the video. If you liked the video, please give me a thumbs up. Otherwise, please subscribe to my channel for future videos. Thank you guys for watching.